welcome to this amazing interview with Marlon August. Marlon, you and I have known each other for, I think 5 or 6 years now. And yeah,
Yeah.
we've done business together. We've done a lot of training together, met each other at training events quite a lot. And you know what? Marlon sent me this beautiful write-up about what he is. And again, I just need to mention that whenever I read this, I realize I'm standing next to a giant amongst men because you've achieved amazing stuff. So Marlon is first and foremost a two-time Olympian competing in judo in 2008 and 2016. He was a semi-professional player and had to fund his own sporting career, which I tip my cap to you. You know, to fund your own sporting career, not easy. But you did that as the marketing director in a family-owned business specializing in general trade in SADC region. But now you're in your own business. You're the marketing consultant at Focal Shift Communications, helping companies eliminate confusion and create engaging experiences that help them grow their businesses. Well done. Thank you for being with me today, Marlon. I appreciate you giving me some of your time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And also helping the audience, you know, make sense of this whole entrepreneur thing because it's an insane journey. It's not an easy one. And I really want to do my best to break down this whole image that media forms around entrepreneurship. They look at Elon Musk, that's overnight success. They look at that guy, that's overnight success. And it's not. It is. And it's not that sexy. The previous guy I interviewed said entrepreneurship is not sexy. And I agree with it. You know, it's not a nice thing. But today I want to talk to you specifically about what it takes to achieve your goals. Because if you look at your Olympic career, it's not that you did a back-to-back 2008, 2012 as well. You did 2008, well done. Obviously then did some stuff and then went like, hey, let's do that stuff again. 8 years after the fact, and take my hat off to you. And that took a lot of dedication. Obviously, you had to make major shifts within your life to make that happen.
Yeah.
But also, when it comes to your business, in December, when you and I met, you had one paying client in your business. And you were building this new business in the worst economic time known to man, and it's going to get worse. And now 8 months later, you're almost full to capacity with customers. So well done on that.
Thank you.
I'm sure it didn't happen just like, oh yes, customers running to you. It took a lot of effort. So if you don't mind, can you give us a little bit of a background of what it took to do your Olympic work? You know, what's the dedication? What's the time frames that you're looking at? And what shifts you had to make in your life? But then, how does that apply to your business and where you are now in your business and what you've achieved in 8 months?
Thanks, Willem, for those questions. And firstly, thank you very much for inviting me. I think it was awesome to connect and to share. Really humbled by your opinion on me. And I mean, you're 100% correct. I mean, this stuff is building a business, actually achieving anything worthwhile that you want is always tough because there's always someone better, someone smarter, someone whatever. And especially in the world of sports, like I qualified for the Olympic Games twice, but I'll tell you now, I literally was the one with two left feet. You know, like I was that guy that didn't have, I was generally the skinnier one out of everybody in my weight class. I was not very athletic, but I just loved the sport. I don't know, something about judo, flying around, getting thrown, I really, really enjoyed. So I just stuck it out. I mean, you asked, what is the time frame? If I remember correctly, my coach actually implanted the message in my brain and it stuck with me forever. I remember because I started judo at the age of 9. And then round about when I was 11, 12 years old, I had won a medal at a competition, like a local competition, and we qualified to go to the national championships. And my coach had actually told the reporter that Marlon's goal is to go to the Olympic Games. That was the first time I ever heard about the Olympic Games, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Where am I
I
going?
think that
I didn't
sounds
even
good.
pack. What's this?
It's
Okay, I like
it's
that.
amazing. So from that moment, I was like, I want to find out more about that, and I want to go there. So I didn't really. I mean, we didn't have internet that time, so it's not like I could go research it. I didn't really go to. I wasn't one for the books. I didn't go and look in the library. I just believed her, and so then later on in life, I just kept on repeating it over and over. And one day when I was like, I think I was 15, 16 years old, there was a trials, a big trials competition. And what had happened was, it was the first time, this was to 1998. So
Mm.
1998, there was the Junior Olympic Games, the first ever Junior Olympic Games, and I qualified for that. It was weird. It was a weird situation because I actually came second in that competition, and because of the situation in South Africa during that time, I was chosen over the gentleman that actually won the competition, and I got to experience my first ever like big stage competition. That was Olympic Games, and that was like, I'm in. I'm definitely doing this again, and then got on the real road. So whenever you're planning for Olympic Games, you're looking at it more or less in an 8-year stretch, because
Okay,
you
so
identify.
I just want to understand. So you tasted the Junior Olympics. Go like, I like
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I
I'm
want
in.
I want the double with cherry on top and everything. I want the big one.
I
Okay,
want
cool.
that
And
medal. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and you say it's an 8-year stretch.
Pretty much, because you have to be identified as a junior, and we're talking about from a national perspective now. You have to be identified as a junior and then be in the national team. And at that point, you kind of looking to the Olympic Games and say, okay, I want to be in the biggest tournaments and I want to be able to compete. And then the people who are managing that, they then select you and earmark you. But
Hmm.
when me and my coach, when we were looking at things, from the moment I left school, so I was 19 years old, and then it's like, okay, so we want to go to the Olympic Games. The most practical time for you to make it is in 2000. It was 2004 at the time, because I tried to
Okay.
qualify for 2004 Olympic Games and I didn't
Okay.
make that team.
Oh no.
So yeah, I just fell out. I was close, and then I had to get a medal at a specific tournament. Ended up coming fifth, and I lost. So I lost out on that, and it was like, okay, 2008, I'm going in. So actually, it's not that I qualified with an intention necessarily of getting to the 2008 Olympic Games, but I was trying since 2000, if that makes sense. And then I
Okay.
failed twice in that
Okay.
process.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is impressive. And what happened 2008? How did the Olympics go?
So at that time, I actually made it to the quarterfinals. I lost in the quarterfinals to the
Okay.
guy that got a bronze medal. And because judo's knockout, so you lose, you're
Yes.
out. So I lost my second fight in the quarters, and that's what happened. I mean, it was just
Ow.
one of those things. But
Ouch.
I think what was interesting is that between then I retired. I was 26 years old. It's pretty much close to the end of the range, and then I retired. I'm gonna do business, and during that 4 years, I got really itchy. My business was doing great. Family business was doing great. I got like super itchy. Decided to get married. Got bored with my life. Didn't really enjoy finally, like I lost my passion.
Okay.
Like I lost something, and then
Mm.
my coach we're watching judo on TV, and then the guy that won the Olympic Games in the category that I fought, he was the age that I was going to be in 2016. And my coach called me up and he was like, Marlon, you know how old Ole Bishop was, this guy that won? And I was like, yes. He's like 33 years old. He's like, how old are you going to be in 2016? I was like, 33 years old.
I
He's
like your
like,
coach.
what do you say we give it another try? I was like, hey, I got to check in with my mom. I got to check in with my wife. you know, because it's a family thing. Your family has to sort of buy into this dream, especially the people
Yeah.
closest to you. If they buy into it with you, it just makes it easier for the hardships that's about to endure. Because I remember how hard it was. And it was only harder because like everything evolved into the next 8 years, you know?
Mm.
So things were faster. Judo rules had changed. They started qualifying differently to how I could have qualified in 2008. So the whole system had changed. And then it was like, so I went to my wife and she said like, oh, finally, because then you can freaking start getting some happiness in your life again because you seem like you lost it. And my mom was like, if you think you can do it, you know, we'll support you. So yeah, that's pretty much what encouraged me to get back into the game. And yeah, that was, I mean, judo, to give you an idea. So basically in 2008, there were qualifying competitions in Africa. So you could qualify in the African region without having to travel into Europe and to other parts of the world. But then what happened by the time 2016 came in, 2012, 2016, shift is that there were no more African qualifiers, or even there were African qualifiers, but they didn't count as much. And if you just toured in Africa, you weren't going to qualify. You had to actually go all around the world in order to do it. So what I would do is I'd travel. Yeah, we're talking about at least 300K for every plus minus quarter of the year. So
Wow.
so this is backpacking. This is me putting my bags on my back, putting as little clothes in there so that I can actually make the baggage, and then traveling for literally 3 months at a time.
Wow.
And going around the world and yeah, backpacking basically.
Yo, that's impressive. And how did you perform at the 2016 Olympics?
Horribly. I lost my first fight to a Brazilian.
Okay.
Another Brazilian. I lost to two competitions, two Brazilians. It was horrible.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
It was
No,
hectic. It was hectic.
that's great. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. And how
Yeah.
much time did you have to dedicate to that on a weekly basis? Time to practice and everything else.
Every day. You train every day. So the only day you have rest is Sunday. You train 8 to 10 hours a day. Run in the morning. You run in the morning. You do gym in the afternoon, and you do judo in the evening. Every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Saturdays is like twice a day.
Wow. Okay. Double tip my hat to you on that one. Now, Marlon, taking that to business, how is that different to business, or do you see a lot of similarities about it?
I think the only difference is you don't get physically that tired, as tired. You know, so that's just about it. But everything else is exactly the same. With every, I assume with every sporting code, but you know, just one thing I know about judo. Judo's got this thing because it's a Japanese sport, so it's got a word that we call uchikumi. But uchikumi is basically the practicing of the fundamentals of a fundamental technique. So you'd have to do that technique over and over and over. And we do hundreds of thousands of that. You're not throwing the person, you're just doing a simulation of entering into the technique. And I've found that is what I need to do every single day in my business. I need to practice the basics over and over and over again. Whatever my process is, to taking someone through a messaging journey, taking them through a website creation, taking them through the customer journey, taking them through whatever component it is, taking them or taking myself through it, I have to repeat the same. I have to have a process, a system in place that is repeatable and that I can do ad nauseum, so that I can then delegate those specific things to other people within my organization, or because I try and operate quite smooth, quite loosely. So what that means is like I'll outsource. So a lot of the people are not necessarily internally in my business. I don't do the design aspects to any of the work. Sometimes I outsource some of my copy, etc. But when I'm doing that, they need to follow my process so that I can easier pick up the slack if anything needs picking up. or I can just, so I can have the same quality of work no matter which way it goes. So developing a system and making sure that system is able to be repeatable has been one of those things that is needed in business and been needed in my judo. Like, I know exactly how to qualify someone for the Olympic Games. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Doesn't matter how much the system changes over the years, the principles will remain the same. So it's just about adapting to what's current, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, and that's what you and I spoke about in December last time, was the basics. You know, it is
100%.
It's getting in that. That's why I keep telling people success is actually very boring. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, because you found the repeatable things you need to do on a daily basis that work, and you keep doing them.
Yeah.
And that's it. You just do the same thing over and over again. But here's something I want to test you on.
Cool.
So you say you outsource a lot. Now, a lot of people come to me. Can I outsource the building of my startup while I work? And can I outsource that? Now, my perspective on that is, if you haven't achieved that within your own life, within your own business, I can't tell somebody else to do it in my business.
100%.
And how do you feel about that?
No, 100%. I totally agree with you. When I started Focal Shift, so I started Focal Shift on the back of 2016 Olympic Games. We decided to close the trading business, and then I went on in my own direction. But when I had done that, I literally decided I want to go big. So I went agency level. I want to be an agency. I want to be able to do all the things, right? So the problem with that is, I immediately started, I went and I took all my money that I had left, I pumped it into this business. I spent all my money in literally like probably about 8 months or so. But I mean, in that time, I hired people, got them doing their own things, because I know I can sell, right? So I was out there selling, and I was like, okay, you guys do the building. But then one thing I started to realize is the components that they use, the little things that they do, was not up to scratch. It's not up to the level that I was thinking about it. And I was like, oh shit, got to dial this whole thing back. And then I started thinking, okay.
Apologies. The reason I'm laughing is because I did the same thing before. I've done that. It's not that I'm laughing at you. You're like, yeah, that was a stupid mistake. I was laughing at myself because I saw myself within you.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it was a good learning curve, because during that time, I got to learn exactly, okay, what do I want and what don't I want? And I think that's what you're alluding to. Like, what does this thing actually look like when it's operating going full steam? And you might not really have that thing clearly in your mind, but having some sort of a framework helps. And I didn't, I just said, I just want a big agency. So then after that,
That's so non-specific.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did all the things. I learned all the stuff, dived a little bit in there and there and there. And then but through that process, started to learn what do I actually enjoy? What am I good at? What am I not good at? Who can I actually bring into my business to run the stuff that I'm not really good at? But even that, I need to put a structure to it so that I can easily feed back and check in on how it's doing and things like that. So,
you need to know how it works, not necessarily how to do it.
100%.
That's a key difference. I don't have to master it. I need to be able to manage it. But in order to manage it, I need to know how it works, not necessarily how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always find it interesting. In car companies, they use the current design language. And a car manufacturer will change their design language every so often. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting once you look at it. Then let's look at BMW with their new design language they brought in with the current designs. And you can clearly see it. It doesn't matter if it's the entry-level 1 Series or the 7s, the language is there. It's not necessarily that the guy at the top knows how to design that car. This is what
For
we're going to
sure.
do. This is the language that we speak.
For sure.
And if you can't communicate that to people, they don't know how to speak your language. And
100%.
you're in the language game. So getting back to your business, December we spoke, you had one customer, and now you're going, I'm almost full. And I'm jealous when I'm saying that. Okay. I congratulate you. How did you achieve that? What did you do that made that shift?
So funny enough, I didn't change anything from when we spoke, besides my level of productivity, and just keep on just being clear on what it is I'm doing today, completing today, and getting that one thing done. Because I would be that guy that just adds all these things in my list, because that has to be done. All these things have to be done. By the end of the day, nothing's really done.
No, nothing gets done. Nothing.
So I mean, we did an exercise that really brought a lot of light to my mind. And I was like, okay, wait, forget all the things. If it was this one thing that needed to be completed by, and I even didn't say today, I like by the end of the month, what would that be? You know? And then I was like, okay, it would be this. And then if this was the end result, what would need to be done today, tomorrow, etc., blah, 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 and filling it in accordingly. That's how I started to just get more productive. I started also giving more value. One thing that COVID, I mean, I was on the phone a lot. I was doing a lot of phone calls, a lot of cold calling, because I didn't really have money to advertise. So I was on the phone often, trying to connect with people. So luckily, a couple of things played. COVID hits. I decided, oh wow, with COVID in now, more people are going to need support. So what I decided to do was just really open myself up and start helping people without expecting anything in return. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I released a course. I literally spent one night recording it, building it. I had a small list of people. So I created started doing some webinars and teaching people. And I spent literally a good portion of my lockdown time just giving free sessions, free messaging sessions, helping people. And through that process, I'm not even saying none of those people converted, by the way. Not one of those people bought. But all of a sudden, it's like this different energy started to come into play. I never forget something that I think Zig Ziglar said. It's all about don't quote me, but he said something like, it's business or value or flow comes from the amount of people you actually help.
I think the quote is, when you help people get what they want, they help you to get what you want.
Sure.
It's similar around that? It's something like around that? Okay.
Because basically it's about what you have is really determined to the amount of people that you serve. And in my space, I was like, who am I serving? Actually, I'm like not serving anyone. So then I was like, you know what? Everyone needs my help right now. So let me go and help them, whether they want it or not. And I got in the game, and that started to call new energy, call new people. Those people that I was calling back all those months ago started contacting me. I forgot about them. This is how busy I was. Okay. And now I'm like, okay, look, I have to fit you in somewhere because I promised a whole bunch of other people stuff. In my mind, I'm like, it's all free, but it's like, it didn't matter, And I was like, I'm going to stick to my word. I'm going to support these people. And then business started coming. And over the time period of lockdown, slowly started increasing my rate. So people were paying me more during the time when people didn't have money. And I was like, what is going on? I found that very interesting. So it was just coming down to me being able to just help more people, be not really sitting there expecting anything back, because when I was on the phone, people could kind of sense, that this guy is desperate.
They can smell it. You can smell desperation.
Something just blocks the deal.
Woo! Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
What's that stage? Yeah.
Yeah, what's that stage? But
100%.
it sounds like you had a humbling experience. And
Definitely.
connected with that, that's another word that you use, serve. Okay. And I found, and I would love to hear your comment on that, a lot of young entrepreneurs don't have the humbleness to understand that, Marlon, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. Okay. And they go, my business, you're the customer, you give me money, you serve me. Like, no. They do serve you at
Yeah.
the end with that.
Yeah.
But have you seen that? That I don't serve people. I'm a businessman.
Well, you see, I think this is going to a deeper problem. I think that many, dare I say, South Africans and Africans have. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's this thing of entitlement,
Okay.
because I've got a name, a business now, I'm something, and
Okay.
I'm owed something. So
Okay.
the thing is, one thing I've learned in the sporting track is that, today, especially in judo, I go and I get this guy, I whip him, bah, 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 throwing him all around the mat. The next day, yeah, exactly, I'm the shit. The next day, it's me catching it. All of a sudden, none of my moves are working. Everything has gone to hell. And I was like, it always blew me away that, like, especially with certain matchups, especially in all forms of sport, this team will always beat this team. But then all of a sudden, even though this team here, they always lose to these guys, there's this other team here that will always beat them. And no matter what, these guys always beat these guys. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's
Blows
like,
your mind.
it's so weird how that happens. And at
Yes.
the end of the day, it's humbling. It's about coming back down to the fact that, like, you're only as good as your last match. And at the end of the day, today, we've got to come out with this new mentality, with this new feeling, with this new willing to be better than yesterday. And I feel like when it comes to entrepreneurship and serving, it's really just about, it's not about you.
No.
It's not about you. One thing that Seth Godin said that I loved is, like, and especially in the marketing field, it's like, do good work for people who care. It's like, I was like, that blew me away, because now I'm like, it
You're
also helped me
touching
relax.
good points there, because sometimes we try to do good work for people who don't care.
Exactly.
And
We're just trying
usually
to
when
get
somebody
everybody.
rejects our product, we work harder to convince them to buy from us. And
Exactly.
you and I both know Barry, and I said, what's your best networking tip? He says, go speak to the people who want to speak to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, yeah, how many networking events have I gone to? And hi, listen to me. And this other guy's on me, hi, can I talk? And I ignore him. But,
Yeah.
when he spoke about the 3 teams in judo, where it's a ring around a posy beating each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
business is a game. That's all it is. And if you and I were in the same industry, my temperament around it. If you beat me to a massive client, I'll call you and go like, respect, loving it, well
Yeah.
played. You beat me fair and square. Okay. Next day, I'll go, boom. And
Imagine.
you'll also go, it happens to go around this grudge. Oh, he took business. No, you lost it. You lost it, because people
Yeah.
spend money where they value it.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
value what you do, I'll throw money at you. But if you don't, if
100%.
I can't see the value that you bring to my life, my business, my wealth, why would I even spend a dime with you? A lot of people don't get that. So Marlon, this is a great chat. I think we can do this for hours on end and just
For sure.
get different perspectives. What's the best advice you can give young entrepreneurs that are thinking into going into a business?
I would say I would say honestly, the one thing I've noticed often, I mean, lockdown taught us a whole lot of things. Coronavirus coming and taught us a lot of things, is that whatever you do is not really as important as the value you bring, right? And you got to bring value to where people actually want it. Now, I would suggest, do not go start a business on the back of your product. Go start a business on the back of a customer. So serve someone first.
Preach.
See how you can also, like, see how you can support them, and then grow from there. Build your product base from there.
Yeah. Because it's not about the product. It's not about the technology. It's about the value that the customer perceives.
Yes. 100%.
Wisdom. Yeah. Wisdom. You should be great for that level of wisdom.
No, thank you. It's like, the beautiful thing is, you're a student. I'm a student of many people that are much smarter than us, much more established, and just really practicing what they preach has and obviously learning along the way. But that was one of my key things. Finding it. I'll give you a quick story. My goddaughter. She is an awesome student of fashion. She's last year in her varsity. Obviously, due to COVID, there was a big time that she couldn't work. She couldn't go to school. So she was like, I need to earn some money. And I was like, okay, so what are you going to do? And then she was like, I can create anything. So I was like, okay, cool. You've got a whole bunch of designs, right? She's like, yeah. But, maybe I should open up an Instagram page. And I'm like, well, look, you're probably not going to get any result from that right now. And you don't have any clients. So you're going to be posting for days and not getting any result.
Yes.
And it's like, why don't you just go into a thing called Google, type in, because at the time she wanted to work for bridal stores.
Yes.
Go type into Google bridal stores, and then get on the phone and speak to every single one of them and say, listen, I am a student. So that to any business owner is like cheap, right? So that's like super cheap to free. And it's like, I'm willing to work for you and come in either free, or I've got like these designs that I would really love to show you. If you would be open to it, I'm happy to actually create these things completely free. You sell them, and I will. And if you sell them on your store, because your store works, and we can design them together. Because she's like from one of the top schools in the country, right? So with the second she says that, they'll be like, you're interesting to me. So I'll come in there for free. I'll take 20%. Just so I can be in your environment, just so that I can,
establish myself.
Yeah, let me learn. Let me actually take part. Let me do a sale. No, she didn't. But she
what held her back? People
are scared. They're scared to connect. They're scared of rejection, right?
That is scary.
And I don't know, like it's also disheartening to go and email and phone people and they don't want to speak to you. So because everybody's busy. But if you're persistent enough with it, you can do it. And it's just really that. It's just really just slow it down. You don't need all the things. You don't need this massive big entity, because it's not going to come up in like 5 seconds. It's going to take time. So for you to be able to get what you want, you just need to go and give value to people where the value is. So if they've got the money, you've got the time, share your time, and the money will come.
Thank you for this, Marlon. Appreciate it. Some wise words from a wise man, and what an inspiration. Thank you. It's an honor to know you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.